The boardroom of Crestwell Global Holdings buzzed with anticipation. Top executives, regional directors and analysts from across the country had flown into the Boston headquarters for what they believed would be a routine quarterly meeting. Everyone wore sharp suits and carried digital tablets. Their small talk was laced with confidence, sarcasm, and a touch of arrogance. Word had spread that a new board member was attending, someone unexpected, someone who, according to whispers, didn't belong. "She's a farmer's daughter," one senior VP scoffed. "Probably still smells like hay," another joked, earning a round of quiet chuckles. No one had met her, but they'd all seen the memo. Anna Ridge was now a major stakeholder in Crestwell Global Holdings. It made no sense to them. Her family owned a modest agricultural operation in Nebraska. Her name had never appeared on Forbes, LinkedIn, or investor portfolios. Yet somehow she was seated as a voting member of one of the nation's leading agricultural tech corporations. The whispers continued until the elevator bell rang. The doors opened and Anna Ridge stepped out. She wasn't in boots or flannel. She wore a well-fitted navy pantsuit, low heels, and carried a worn leather folder. Her braid was neatly tied down her back. She didn't smile. She didn't try to look important. She simply walked past the stairs and into the boardroom without hesitation. Inside, a long glass table dominated the center of the room. 14 people already sat, their names etched in silver plates. The head of the table remained empty, reserved for Richard Langford, the company's respected but stern CEO. As Anna entered, several eyes rolled. A few smirked. One middle-aged man in a grey blazer gestured toward the corner chair. Guest observers usually sit in the back row. She ignored him and pulled out the seat labeled for her, one of the 6 voting chairs. A brief hush fell over the room. Before anyone could speak, the side doors opened and Richard Langford walked in, flanked by 2 executive advisors. He paused, scanned the room, then offered a firm nod. "Miss Ridge, I'm glad you could join us," he said, walking directly to her with an outstretched hand. The entire boardroom froze. She rose and shook his hand calmly. "Thank you for having me." He smiled faintly and took his seat. "Before we proceed with standard reports, I'd like to acknowledge our newest majority stakeholder and voting board member, Miss Anna Ridge." Gasps, confused looks, someone fumbled their pen. One of the regional directors leaned toward the person next to him. "Majority stakeholder." Anna opened her folder, pulled out 3 pages of data and graphs, and began. "I'd like to start by addressing projected crop losses in our western zones due to algorithmic mapping failures. Your field sensors are misreporting drought zones by as much as 23%. I've reviewed the data personally." The room went silent. All those who had laughed suddenly found themselves listening, not to a girl from the farm, to the new power in the room. The room was silent, except for the faint hum of the air conditioning and the gentle tapping of someone's pen against the table. Anna stood beside the digital screen, clicking through satellite images, data comparisons, and field analysis with quiet confidence. She spoke clearly, without rushing, her tone steady and unshaken. "These aren't hypothetical projections," she said. "They're pulled from active plots, including my own. And I've tested Crestwell's technology side by side with traditional methods. Your mapping systems need recalibration before Q3, or you'll face a 12% drop in yield across 5 states." Some executives began jotting notes. Others looked up from their tablets, eyes narrowing, not with suspicion anymore, but with interest. Even the logistics director, who had scoffed minutes earlier, was now nodding slowly. She was young. She didn't come from Wall Street. But she knew what she was talking about, and she had the data to prove it. Richard Langford, the CEO, watched quietly. His expression remained unreadable. When she finished her presentation, she didn't wait for applause or permission. She sat back down and closed her folder. "I'm ready for questions," she said simply. For a few seconds, no one spoke. Then a senior strategy officer finally leaned forward. "You're suggesting we overhaul the mapping software and retrain the AI protocols for rural climate variance?" "Yes," she replied, "and I've already outlined the cost breakdown and projected returns in the appendix of your packet." He flipped through the report, impressed. The man in the grey blazer, the one who had earlier tried to seat her in the corner, cleared his throat. "Who helped you prepare this analysis?" "I did it myself," she said without blinking, "on my father's laptop from our grain shed." A quiet chuckle rippled at the back of the room, but it wasn't mocking this time. It was something closer to surprise, or maybe respect. Langford finally sat forward and placed both hands on the table. "Gentlemen and Madam Chairwoman," he said, his voice firm and slow, "we are no longer a boardroom detached from the dirt. Today, we've been reminded of what agriculture really is. Not just tech, not just profit, but connection to the land." He turned toward Anna. "As CEO of Crestwell Global Holdings, I officially welcome you to the helm of this board." A murmur of shock ran through the group. He stood. "Everyone, meet your new chairwoman, Anna Ridge." There were no laughs now, no smirks, only stunned faces and a few hesitant claps that slowly turned into sincere applause. After the meeting, several board members approached her with questions, not sarcasm. Others asked for her insights on their regions. One even invited her to co-lead a research panel. As Anna walked out of the glass tower onto the busy Boston street, the noise of horns and footsteps faded behind her. Her phone buzzed with a message from home. "Dad's watching the live stream. He's crying. We're proud of you." She smiled softly. The farmer's daughter had arrived, and now she was in charge.